Welcome to It's All Real podcast with Charley and Hoopie. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. We're asking that you would like, subscribe, and share. It's a great opportunity to come to you on this platform. Again, we're excited about some of the material and the content that we're able to put out, and we're asking that you would just share the information and follow us on this particular platform and social media outlets that are all around. And we're asking also that you would share some comments, send in some questions so that we could, see if we can bring clarity to. But again, I'm so excited to have my brother back. This is going to be an outstanding, situation for the both of us. And I just think that you're in store for a wonderful treat. Today we're going to talk about a few things that will be exciting and also impressive as it relates to where we are today. So again, it's we were talking about some dynamic things in our family structure and how mom just kind of helped us through some very challenging times in our life.
Right.
And so, where we left off, you made a great point in episode 1 when you alluded to the fact that this generation has become so disconnected, and how the generation that we're from, as opposed to where we are now, is, like you said, just disrespectful. Can you?
Perfect example. When we were in high school, when we were in middle school, when we were in elementary school, we would never, ever disrespect a teacher, an adult,
right,
a neighbor,
right,
anything like that. If you look at some of the things that these kids are doing today, and all you have to do is go to the internet and go to the YouTube and social media, man, you got kids fighting teachers.
Yeah.
We would get killed. In our generation, we wouldn't even think to even say a curse word to a teacher.
Yeah.
These kids is beating up teachers
Yeah.
and getting away with it.
Yeah.
Because what society has done, they have taken away the power from the adult. When they took away corporal punishment in the schools,
yeah,
that did it. Or when, I don't want to say the race, but when somebody said, if you spank your kids, it's a bad thing, you going to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. If our parents and people our age that's watching, if we told the authorities what our parents did to us as kids, they all be locked up.
Yeah.
We got our tails ripped apart.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It made us who we are today.
Yeah.
These kids now, they don't have no respect.
So society stepped in and said, that's too much. That your discipline that you're administering is way too much. That's child abuse. So now we're going to change the laws. We're going to get behind this, and we're going to take the authority out of the parents' hand. Now, with that being said, the laws began to change, and then we weren't allowed to be swatted in school. We weren't allowed to have hands put on us in any kind of shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
Because kids got into fights, physical fights. You had to physically break them up.
You had to restrain them.
So, like you said, back then, whoever swung on an adult, we thought they had a problem. We thought they was
a mental problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because now, like I said,
even the gang members,
they didn't have respect.
Exactly.
We had a brother that was a gang member, and he never would even think of raising his hands to our mom.
Right.
Because the way that we were brought up and the way that we were raised, it starts from the foundation as a kid and as you go up. But like I spoke on before, these kids have no foundation. These kids raise themselves. I mean, when society came in and said, we're going to raise your kids for you, that was all bad.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. You spank your kids, the kids call the pigs,
Yeah.
and you go to jail?
Right. I was just going to say,
come
it's
on.
like the kids was like learning the law.
They know the law.
They were.
I'll call 911. Come on. Our mother or father told us, oh, you call 911, you're going to be in the cemetery.
Right.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
You going to the graveyard, you call 911 on me. But we just knew better. We wasn't going to disrespect our family, our moms and our dads and our uncles and our neighbors and our teachers the way these kids doing now.
That's a great point. And you also said at the close of the last episode, you said that the dynamic was also that a lot of adults in our generation got caught up in the crack epidemic.
Right.
Therefore, some of the women were on drugs, pregnant, or pregnant using drugs, and then having the babies. And you said ADD, bipolar, all these different disorders were taking place because of, well, what was that epidemic like? I mean,
but if you think about it, I'm going to answer the question with just this. You think about it when we were coming up as kids, was there anything called ADD?
no.
Was there anything called bipolar? No. Was there anything? We didn't have no labels for nothing.
No.
All of a sudden, the 80s passed. All these, like I said, the uncles and the fathers and the mothers are on crack. The men are on crack. The women are on crack. They're having these babies while they're still smoking crack. The man is smoking crack and the woman is smoking crack. Then they produce a kid. Yeah. This kid gonna have some problems.
Gonna have some problems.
This kid's gonna have some. So that's all this stuff came in after that. We didn't hear about that stuff when we were kids. We didn't even know nothing about bulimia when we were kids. No. We had a brother that, remember our brother used to go eat and stick his finger down his throat and throw it. We laugh and thinking it's a joke. He don't even know there's a label to that. He had bulimia because he had a problem with his weight.
Right.
If you think about it, his nickname was Fat Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
So he didn't want to, but he never said that to us, and we never figured it out as kids until we got adults, and we look back and we're like, you know what, man?
He
this
was,
dude had to do with his bulimia. Yeah. Think about it. He would go eat,
right. He was dealing
and
with
go to the bathroom and throw up.
Right.
We in there laughing, he in there throwing up,
right.
But he really throwing up because he don't want to get bigger.
Right.
Because kids was teasing him as a kid, or not even teasing him, but nickname was Fat Boy.
Yeah, he was big.
He was chubby.
Yeah. But
he didn't like that name.
Right.
Obviously, he didn't like it because he was throwing up. Right. He didn't like to be called Fat Boy.
No.
That's how it was.
Yeah, and so when we think about the crucial aspect of chemical imbalances, because that's really what it turned into.
Right.
These were chemical imbalances that a lot of people at this time, they weren't recognizing it as that. So these psychologists,
put labels
these other doctors start putting labels to it, saying, hey, we can market this. We can get with the pharmaceutical companies and we can make billions and billions of dollars if we diagnose, if we can get the psychiatrist
to say that this kid got this.
Now
we can prescribe them.
They gotta get this medication.
They gotta get some medication.
And they also did it in the penal system. A lot of the men and women that were going to jail, even the young juveniles, when they were going to jail and getting in that system, and they were fighting and they were rebelling, they were saying, hey, the only way to restrain these people is to put them on drugs. So a lot of people felt like, well, yeah, I felt a little calmer when I took the medication, and then it would have these people walking around like zombies in these institutions.
But that's why you have a lot of adults to this day, 50s, 60s, 30s, 40s, that's homeless and they're out on the street. Listen, they don't want to be out there, but a lot of them got mental illness. Yeah. And they don't want to take the medication because it makes them loopy and it makes them all this and all that. So they would rather deal with the voices and everything than to take the medication.
And then Ronald Reagan took those programs away.
Yep.
When he was in office, he did 2 terms. When he was in office, he began to so-called downsize for the national economy, right? Yeah. So he started cutting these programs, forcing these sick people onto the streets, out of these rehabs, out of these hospitals, onto the streets because they were cutting the budget. So with that being said, what was childhood like and what were those experiences relating to the friends that you acquired? You know,
Childhood, really, after we came to, and let me just rewind it a little bit, and I think we spoke last time about if we hadn't left the east side, how do you think we would have ended up or whatever, and I had said that at least two of us would have gotten caught up in the streets or whatever. But once we got to Inglewood and we started to meet certain people and to meet certain friends and kind of start getting a feel for, you know, oh man, you know, this is a little cooler on this side.
New situation.
This is a new situation on this. This is the friends over here were a little bit different than the friends we had back there. And, you know, we had to adjust to it, but, you know, that's who we were. We were adjusters. And once we did, it just kind of flowed.
Yeah.
From that point.
Yeah. Now, who were some of the childhood friends you had then that were close to you? And what are those relationships like now? Are those friends still around? Do you talk to them? I mean, what are those? Do you still have those relationships?
You know, it's so funny because, you know, when you speak of childhood friends, it's not childhood from, you know, 12, 13. We gonna go back to 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
When you know you meet a friend and you're old enough to understand what a friend is. I don't think you really know at 5 years old, but once you become 7, 8, 9 years old, that's when you start knowing. So when we got to Inglewood, you know, I met guys that's still involved in my life now was Lil Junior, James Salone, Lil Rodney, Derek Williams, Pookie. We all were like 8, 9 years old, all the way through.
Yeah.
And to this day, like me and Junior, we probably talk every day, at least either by Instagram or something, but I communicate with him every day. He's still the same guy as he was as a kid.
Yeah.
Got so much love for Lil Junior. He's like a brother to us.
Yeah.
Lil Rodney.
Definitely.
We may not talk every day, but when we do communicate,
it's like you never,
same thing.
Like
it's like you never left off.
Exactly.
Never missed a beat.
Exactly.
Derek Williams, surprisingly, me and Derek are still in contact. We talk over the internet or whatever, you know, and Pookie now, not so much.
Now you were really close to him.
Hey, listen, man. You know me.
you know I mean.
Look, man. Me and this dude were, and you too. I mean,
of course,
we grew up like brothers.
Yeah, yeah.
Me, you, Pookie, because think about it. We said, listen, our back gate was on their back gate.
Yeah,
so we would jump our back gate and be in their backyard.
Right.
And we would go play. We shot marbles.
Yeah.
His dad was our basketball coach.
Of course.
So we jumped in the station wagon every day, and we went to practice.
Of course.
And I remember when Pookie and them came from 92nd over 92nd. So, but yeah, man, you know, it's so sad that me and Pookie's relationship is the way it is now because, you know, I really, really love this dude, and I really thought that we were friends, and I thought that even up to this day now, you know, I hear that he's successful or whatever, and God bless him for that. But when you get success and you kind of forget about the people along the way, especially the people who impacted your life and helped you in your life, it's a little hurtful.
Of course.
Of course. And you know, my relationship with him is just, I mean, we don't have a relationship. It's almost like I don't even know the guy.
All right.
I know Wikey. Wikey's still the same.
Yeah.
Wikey's still there. He's still the same little comedian or whatever. White's still the same.
Yeah.
I don't even know Pookie.
And
so when people ask me about, hey, what's up with Pookie? I don't know the guy. You know what I'm saying? It's so sad that you grow up with somebody and you don't even know him anymore.
Grow apart.
Not even apart. I don't even know this guy because I don't understand the way that he is, and for you to just forget about the people, it's almost like forgetting about your brother. You sitting up here on the top and your brother's down here on the bottom. Yeah. That ain't gonna happen with me.
Right.
And that's kind of how it is. So it is what it is. God bless him.
Right. Now, when and we all had our relationships. Me as well. I had a relationship with him. You know, we went through everything together. You know, we tore bologna sandwiches in half. We ate
at each other's house.
Exactly. We spent the night at each other's house. You know, we went on our, you know, first dates together.
Yeah.
We went to parties.
Yeah.
And, you know, we
raided his dad's porn collection in the rumpus room. In the rumpus room.
You know, I mean, it was just. But these are experiences that we shared as young people.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we were brothers.
Yeah.
And even Derek Williams. I mean,
Yeah.
Playing football.
Yeah.
And you know, sandlot against streets and all that.
Yeah. Pole
you
to
know?
pole.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
107 against 106.
Kevin McDaniel.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You know, Craig.
Yeah.
You know, it was like,
We used to
you know,
swim in his pool.
Exactly.
Look, you remember his mom and dad. I mean, it wasn't his mom. His mom was cool, but his dad, he would only allow a certain amount of people to come over swimming.
Of course.
Oh, okay, you,
Right.
you,
Of course.
you. Okay.
Yeah. He didn't want his backyard full of all these inner city
Oh,
kids.
dude. Oh,
you
dude.
know?
I remember
No.
Mr. Davenport.
Yeah, so-
Rest in peace.
So, but you know, those are things that we really, you know, we relish in.
Right.
You know, and a lot of guys couldn't say that they were there.
Right.
You know, Chris Johnson and Danny.
Yeah.
You know,
Man.
You know, these were, you know, Tiny. You
Oh,
know,
man.
his family. You know, these were relationships that you never thought would ever break.
It was like family back
Right,
then.
right.
It was like everybody was
Right.
like family back then.
Right.
And everybody was on the same economic status. Even
Oh,
though
it wasn't ever even about money
listen,
or anything.
even though Pook had a mom and a dad, Lee was the breadwinner, you know, engineer, very, very smart man, and he was a father figure to us.
Of course.
But still kind of on the same economic thing. It wasn't like
Yeah.
they had much more than the next one, than what we had or what Chris and them had.
It's all
We
how
were
you manage it.
We were all kind of on that
Yeah.
same time. I mean, I can remember from the station wagon they had. I remember when they bought remember the Black Thunderbird they bought?
Yeah.
Black and gold.
That was nice.
Oh, it was sweet.
That was nice. It
The
was
Thunderbird
two-tone.
sweet. It was two-tone when
it
they
was
first
nice.
came out.
It was nice.
You know,
It was nice.
and we used to play basketball in Pook's backyard.
Of course. But we had a basketball court.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We had a swimming pool.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, it's like I think those relationships are monumental because when I think of how we came along, we all shared the same experiences and friendships. You know, the Elliott brothers. You know.
Oh, yeah.
We met them at Center Park.
Yeah.
And you're talking about
Ken Henson
Ken, exactly. You know, Ken Henson
had every color Chuck Taylors you can even think of, and we didn't have none. He had like
NBAs.
Oh, dude, we had NBAs.
NBAs.
Yeah, this dude had black,
Right.
white, burgundy,
Right.
green, every color you could name.
Right,
Like,
right.
hey, this dude got every
And
color.
look at
Chuck
Derek
Taylors.
Lee. Derek Lee, you know, he had the nice, you know, the chrome dirt bike, you know, the Diamondback.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I mean, but these, we never shunned each other.
No.
We all had something, but more importantly, we have friendships. We have relationships.
We have relationships.
And so like you said, you know, Lil Junior, who helped bridge. See, what was so important about Junior Salone was he bridged a lot of relationships that were outside of Inglewood.
Yes, he did.
Because he knew everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody knew
to
this
this
guy.
day, he still know everybody.
And he had that outgoing personality. And no matter what, he gonna clown. He gonna make a joke or two. You know, and you know, it was very, very impressive to have those relationships. You know, the Paynes, you know, me, you know, Kevin Payne, Daryl Gordon. I mean, we were just like, you saw one of us, you saw, you know what I'm saying? You saw us all. I
the
mean,
Tails.
Yeah.
Ernest Tail and Tracina.
Exactly.
Nobody in the world gave a house party like them.
Oh,
I mean,
to this day.
we grew up with. I mean, we all the same age with Ernest and Tristina. Ernest, resting in peace, that's my boy. But when them dudes gave a party, everybody was there.
All the gangsters.
Even from
all the women.
from the IVCs from the Watergates, everybody was at their party. And that's how it was. Just like Robin Brown and
her brother.
Yeah.
Tubby. Is that his name, Tubby?
Randy Brown. Same thing. What they call it?
Call him Tubby, right?
I forgot what they call
Tubby.
Randy.
I think it was Tubby.
But man, nobody did it like that era.
Of course not.
Not that era.
Well, Ann Cherry, she threw a good one.
It wasn't nothing like the Tails, man. Listen, man.
Ann Cherry could throw a good one though.
But you have to understand, Ernest and Tracina, everyone they gave.
Yeah, it was hot.
And they would give one. It almost seemed, when you were a kid, it almost seemed like they was giving a party every week.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're a kid, you don't know how to distinguish between time elapse or whatever. But, you know.
But our parents knew their parents.
Yeah, that's how it was back then.
It was different than this generation. You got guys that are partying and hanging out with each other, and then something happened, and nobody can even tell the authorities
who's the parent or who's wherever, where this kid live, or blah, blah, blah. No.
Now everybody under investigation because nobody knew who this person was.
Look, they think they got the code now. I ain't no snitch.
Exactly.
You know,
we don't. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you know, those dynamics to me are noteworthy, especially speaking to you know, the topic that we discussed even in episode 1 about wrong perspectives. And I think that goes beyond just, you know, race, color, and creed. Sometimes within the urban culture, we have a totally different perspective of one another.
Yes.
What was that relationship supposed to be like?
Right.
You're talking about you going from childhood to adulthood, and now there is no relationship. So people grow, people change, some for the good, some for the bad. But at the end of the day, you can never take away the foundation of what that friendship was.
Yep.
So they have to live with that. They have to deal with that, knowing that it didn't start off this way.
So let me rewind. So you said something about change and how, you know, we change, and from whether it be to the good or the bad, whatever. Yeah. So I don't think people know this, but let's kind of go back a little bit further. As kids, I don't even know if our immediate family, like our cousins or whatever, know. I don't even know if mom know. Mom may know, whatever. But as a kid, you were kind of this kind of rambunctious kid. You were, you know, you was ready to put hands on somebody. You was really known as the one that's gonna fight. But like, where did it all start from? Because I can remember as you being a little kid, you was a pyromaniac. You burned down the house over in L.A. when we lived off of Central. I think you burned down the back house.
Before we got there, though, remember we was on Ascot in 46, and I burned.
You burned I'm gonna get to that. Grass my ass. You burned down the shed.
Was that the shed?
It was a back shed you burned down. It was like a shed because we lived in those apartments, and then it was like a shed that detached.
That separated. Yeah.
You burned down the shed. You burned down the house in the back. You used to abuse animals. I remember you throwing dogs and cats up in the air and letting them come down and die. I mean, what was going on with you, man? I mean, is there something that was going on in your young childhood to bring you to the point that you were in terms of the violence?
But you know, I used to have nightmares behind that.
No, that was me with the nightmares. I
might
have a nightmare because of watching what you did.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, I think honestly, when I look back on that,
yeah, talk to me about that.
You know, I was like, I know I was curious.
Okay.
But I think I was just, well, on that end with the animals and the
what was that
I think
about?
I was just destructive.
Okay.
I think I was just literally just. I would just tear up something, right? I was destructive, but I didn't understand at that age that I was actually taking life.
Right.
I don't know if you remember around that same time we were chasing a cat or something or a dog. And we were at Ascot and we trapped it. And we was trying to get it to come out of the bushes, and we was throwing stuff at it.
You threw it with a glass.
I hit it with and
killed
it.
Oh.
And I killed it.
This dude right here.
So
I remember that.
But I don't know, at that point I think I was just destructive and curious. And that puppy that I threw up in the air, Dad had just got that puppy for us. And I don't know why I was tossing the puppy up, but I dropped it. You know, I didn't. No, I probably just.
No,
let
you didn't drop it, man. You
Yeah.
threw the damn dog up in there, and he came down. And it was wrapped. So what about the fire?
Okay,
what was that about?
I don't know. I was enamored with fire. I know.
That was obvious. You burned down the damn house.
But think about it. Mom had to have, or Dad had to have matches around for me to get to the
Yeah,
mattress.
but I wasn't enamored with fire.
I think I was enamored with it. I think
Man,
I used to,
that's
you know,
crazy.
even in the kitchen when mom would be
Cooking on the stove?
Yeah, either her or Aunt Big would be. I would just be looking at the fire.
Wow.
So I knew. I'm not gonna
Wow.
kid you. I was kind of impressed with fire.
Wow.
Early on, and it's crazy because my son Jeremy ended up doing the same thing. That's why I call him Bam Bam.
Oh, wow.
Because he was sort of like the aggressive,
Okay.
and the you know the rambunctious one. So Anissa would always tell me like you need to talk to him. You know he was playing with the fire and this and that because I had told her about my childhood.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, well, yeah, you need to talk to him because I ain't going for that, right?
Oh, wow.
But I think that along with the aggressiveness.
Yeah, when did the Mike Tyson hand? When did that start?
I think that was probably
because I was a wimp. I ain't gonna lie. I was one of them kids like I don't want no problems.
I think I was more. I had complexes. I don't know if you really remember, but remember, all y'all had a name for me. So everybody had some kind of. It was some kind of negative name.
Yeah,
Monkey.
Yeah.
Big ears.
But that wasn't me though. That was
no.
really
I'm just
Poonie.
saying. Well, Poonie. Yeah, Poonie always called me that. Ape. Remember?
Yeah.
You know,
that was Poonie though.
You know. So
get out of you, ape.
Right, and then sometimes at school I would get, criticized about my ears sticking out or whatever, or being, black back then, being dark, which we look now, it's like we're not really dark.
No.
But back then you was dark.
Yeah.
You was considered dark.
Yeah, because we had some light skinned people that was in back in the day.
Right.
So,
So I think a lot of that compiled with probably how I felt internally about Dad being gone and not being there, and then not that Don wasn't a good stepfather.
Right.
We loved him.
Right.
We loved him like a father. He was a good man.
Of course.
We learned a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Great man.
And he's rested in peace. But Don Petway came into our life at a very significant time.
Yes.
And he imparted something.
Yes.
He made a deposit.
Yes.
And I think that I was grateful for that. But I think somewhere down the line, I had this balled up anger.
You would even
fight I didn't mind fighting.
Man, you would fight my friend. That's why I would never want to. Man, I don't want this dude going with me. Mom would be like, why you don't want this dude want to fight all my friends?
Right.
You know what I mean? He want to get into it with all my friends, and this dude got to stay.
Yeah.
But I never understood that. It's like, this dude ready to go.
Right. And then I think sometimes I didn't mind my own business. Meaning, if I saw a chick getting harassed by a guy,
you gonna step in
every time.
Was there anybody from whether it be elementary or junior high school that you guys just stayed getting into it with each other? When you saw each other on site, it was on.
Racing Henry.
Was it
That was my nemesis. That's my nemesis because racing was big.
I know.
And it was always with racing. It was always about who was the toughest.
Oh, really?
Who's king of the school?
Because racing was a big dude.
Oh, he's way bigger than me. But I was stocky. So I mean, it wasn't like I was intimidated of nobody's side.
Trust me, I know.
But I think racing was that guy that I felt challenged by him.
Really?
And we were just rivals, man.
See, that's how I was with Charles Sperry.
Okay. But
as soon as I hit Center Park, it was on with him.
And see,
dude, it was on. Dude, we fought. It was on with me and this dude.
Right.
Because I remember when I first hit Center Park at 8-9, I took his girlfriend, Kelly West.
I remember.
Tall Kelly West.
I remember that.
And he was the so-called king of the school or the bully or whatever. But when I got there, it was just a whole different. But Charles Sperry. I don't know why I wasn't, because I wasn't even that type of kid that wanted to fight. But it was something about Charles Sperry. We stayed getting into it. Right. And and Charles stayed a bully all the way through.
All his life.
And as we got older, he started getting his ass whooped.
Well, he didn't grow anymore.
Dude, you remember when Kevin Bevins put hands on him? Yeah. Kevin Bevins put them hands on him.
Yeah.
Bevins put them hands on him. I think somebody else put hands on him, but I know for a fact Kevin Bevins put them Belizean hands on him, Bear put them hands on Charles Sperry.
But I think but you guys ended up becoming very, very close friends.
That's my guy. Yeah. To this day.
Both of you guys' names Charles.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not take away he was about it.
Oh yeah, he was with the business.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he was with the business.
But also, I realized that I was getting into it with guys that was banging.
Right.
I never banged.
Right.
So I never was going to get into it with a guy over blood and crip. I knew that because I wasn't defending something that I wasn't a part of. But I had to realize as I got older, your affiliation makes you a part of this culture even though you ain't claiming it.
Right.
See, we wasn't claiming it, but yet we were forced.
You got ties.
You had ties.
You got ties to it.
You had ties.
You know what? Before I forget, I'm gonna ask you first, and then you can ask me because I've always, this man has really impacted my life from an 8-year-old kid up until the day that I am now, and I think about this man. When we got to Center Park, it was probably 80% white teachers still there.
Oh yeah.
You remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
Was there any white teacher that you had a rapport with as a kid that in your heart of hearts today thinks that that's a good white man and he wasn't prejudiced, or a good white woman and she wasn't prejudiced? Is there anybody?
To be honest, and you talking about just elementary or just period?
I'm talking about when we were kids.
Well,
I'm talking about from I'm talking about elementary school.
Well, Miss Carter was my second grade.
She was
teacher.
black though.
She was white.
Was she white?
Miss you talking about Miss
Carr.
Carr.
Right.
That was one of my favorite teachers, Miss Carr.
Okay, I remember Miss
got
Carr.
her in the 3rd and 4th
Miss
grade.
Carr.
But Miss Carter
Okay.
was my second grade teacher, and she looked like she looked like olive oil or something. She wore these nice plaid, striped shirts with these deck shoes.
Okay.
So anyway, she's the one that helped me recognize that I had a temper.
Oh, really?
She's the one that would not suspend me or send me
But
home.
she would bring you and talk to you.
Right there in the classroom. She would take me out. She's the one that helped me recognize
that you had like a little anger.
That I had a temper.
Really?
She never called it an anger problem.
Okay.
She said that we have to manage your
wow.
anger.
I never knew that.
Miss Carter is the one, and I used to look for her once I got to Monroe.
Really?
But she was older then. She was an older woman then.
Because back then the adults
they was on their way out.
The adults were older back then. They're not like it is now.
No,
you're right.
This woman was older, and she wore a short blonde hairstyle. And but anyway, she's the one that I don't know if you remember that dude Orville.
Yeah, I remember Orville.
Well, he ended up getting kicked out of Center Park.
Right.
Because I guess they found out that he was actually older. Because he was tall. He was a big dude.
He probably like 15 in the 2nd grade.
Man, she got into a scuffle with this dude.
Oh, did she?
Literally and put him in the closet.
No.
And that was the first time I had ever seen a teacher get physical
with a student.
With a student. Wow. But she had to because this dude was literally like trying to go at her.
Right.
But the bottom line is, she helped me understand that she had a temper. And she said, these are some of the things that I've done to help my temper. Wow. So really, she impacted my life from that standpoint to help me recognize
that you had like
that I couldn't really control when I got to 8 or 10.
Wow.
And she knew that, and so I remember those steps all the way to Morningside.
You know what? Let me tell you something, man. And I don't think Mom knows this. I don't think any adult to this day knows this. But the audience, and we have to understand that, growing up as a little black kid, we remember people who were nice to us and people who were mean to us. And I didn't even know as an 8-year-old or 9-year-old what racism was.
Right.
As I got older, I was able to look back and say, okay, this is meant racist or whatever.
Right.
Let me tell you something, man. I remember Mr. Tuttle. Oh. This was the nicest white man.
That was the older man at Center Park.
He was the nicest white man. He wasn't, even looking back on it, he never said nothing derogative to the black kids. He never said nothing racist to the black kids because the classroom was mixed. But I'm going to tell you something. This white man made such an impact in my life. He taught all the kids coming into his class how to work the reel-to-reel. We were working, you can ask Ken Henson this. and a few people who was in my class in 3rd grade. He taught us how to work the reel-to-reel projector because we would watch movies. Yeah. And he taught us how to load it up.
And everything.
He taught us. And this white man, me looking back on it as a 54-year-old man, and as you know, you talking over 40-something years ago. Yeah.
That's a long time.
I think about this white man all the time, and I wish he had some offspring where I could just say, hey, look, your father or your grandfather or your uncle was a good man. That was a good white man. Yeah. Yeah, bow-legged Mr. Tuttle.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Tuttle.
He was a good teacher. I remember Mr. He was a good teacher, and he was a good person. So all white people, all people of other ethnicities aren't bad people. Because I'm a little kid, and I remember this white man. Well, yeah, this white man was a good man. He was a good man.
Right. I think the fine line is always when those other ethnicities have to make a choice.
Right.
A decision.
But Mr. White was different.
Yeah.
He was another teacher I had as a 4th grade. Yeah. He wasn't nice like Mr. Tuttle.
Right. I think we could say that about a lot of Caucasian teachers, like from middle school to high school, that you knew was cool on you.
Yeah. But as kids, we don't know what racism is. Well, we don't know that at 8, 9 years old in our era.
Yeah, and then think about this. Blacks are not taught racism.
Exactly. We're not taught to hate.
We're taught exactly.
We're not taught to hate.
So you have to understand.
We're naive when it comes down to racism. We're like, well, wait, why is this guy treating us like this?
More so, they teach us to be careful, to be vigilant. Mm-hmm. Don't be so trusting. But as far as like, don't like them because of the color of their skin, I don't believe any black family taught that.
Right.
Even with Big Daddy. Big Daddy talked about his experiences. And he talked about the dynamics of what he saw as a boy.
But he never told us to hate anybody or dislike anybody.
He gave us...
My mom never told us either. Don't hate this person. Don't dislike them. And I tell a lot of my white friends and counterparts and Hispanic or whatever that blacks wasn't taught racism like that. No. Well, so that's the reason why we fall so, we always get caught up because we're not always on the defensive in terms of the whole racist thing. It's hard for us to hate another race because we wasn't taught it.
Right. Well, I think too when you spoke to that, you was like the generations that we've come through to this point. A lot of the history and the vital information that these young people need to know, they're not receiving. And first of all, they don't teach it in school.
No.
They didn't teach us that in school.
No.
So you have to understand that it's really on the shoulders of the parents.
Right.
To sit their kids down
and talk to them.
And
educate them.
I've had discussions with my children over the years. They're older now, but over the years, and they would even as of late, they would say things like, "Well, Dad, don't say that. You sound racist."
Yeah, my daughter says the same thing.
And I would say,
she's like, "Dad."
And then, but you have to break it down.
Yeah.
And and they pull my coattail on it. I might be driving or something, and I might say, "Oh, this and that. It must be a lady," or must. And then one of them would say, "Dad,
Jeremy,
you can't just limit it to that. It could, you don't know what that situation." And then I gotta reel it in, and I have to realize, okay, they're listening, they're looking, and they're listening. So I think the responsibility is really on us as adults to pass that along.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm thinking, like, how did those relationships, how are they comparable to the relationships that you are building now as an adult? You spoke about childhood friends. You spoke about teachers that impacted your life, and how some of those relationships, just kind of, went away.
Right.
But are there any new relationships? Are there any, situations that you're dealing with now that you had to open yourself up to say, and I'm speaking of people that you may have met 5 years ago.
You know what, man? That's a very, very interesting conversation to have, because I'm to the point now where I don't trust anybody. I'm really a solo dude. Because for me, if you can't treat me the way I'm gonna treat you, then you're not gonna be in my circle.
Okay.
Cause me and you both,
Yeah.
when we bring somebody in,
Yeah, I'm sold.
we love them like a brother.
Exactly.
There's no in between with us.
Exactly.
If you're in our circle, mine's and yours,
Right.
we really, really love you. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. So
Right.
for me
Loyalty.
now,
A lot of people don't get loyalty.
look, man, if you can't treat me the way that I'm going to treat you, then you're not in my life. So I don't have any friends. I have associates. I still have those childhood friendships, like I said, like Lil Junior and people like that, and I talk to them here and there. But do I have anybody who I go and say, hey man, let's go have a beer, hey, let's go hang out? I don't have none of that.
Okay.
I don't have none of that.
Is that by choice or
That's by choice.
Okay.
It's by choice,
Yeah.
and it's by me bringing people in thinking that they're my friend, and me ended up getting my feelings hurt.
I got you.
Because I'm thinking that
It's
oh, man,
one-sided.
it's one-sided. But you don't know it's one-sided until something happens. You be like, oh man. Like my 20-something plus relationship that I had with my boy Sean Lunn, white boy. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking this dude is my guy. And we cool. He was the first guy that I met when I was in acting school, and we befriended each other, and we did a lot of stuff in TV together, and we did a lot of stuff on stage. And we both Pisces. He's March 8th, I'm March 4th. And I'm thinking like, man, this is a cool dude. And he's always chased me throughout the years. Always. Like he would find me. But I hate to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Up until about last month, I see this dude on Facebook with a Trump 2020 shirt on, him and his fiance, just like loving it.
Right.
So to me,
Pushing the line.
Pushing the line. So for me, and you have the right to support who you want to support, whatever, that's your thing. But for me, if you follow this dude, you a racist. That's how I look at it. Because not necessarily racist, but this guy's agenda and the things that he
is about.
Right. You support that. For you to support this guy
right.
and all the stuff that he's done, it says a lot about who you are.
Exactly. That means you
So
support,
I cut him off.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
And I had to cut him off. Block him from Facebook. And I love Sean Lunn. But for me, he never, ever, ever showed any kind of indication that he was prejudiced. He never did. Right. But when I saw that,
I think, yeah.
Oh, man.
It comes down to a decision. It comes down to a choice.
I'm like, man, you can speak on the friendships you just had.
Right.
And behind the same thing,
right.
that friendship is no longer.
Right. And that hurt me.
That's what I'm saying. Because you used to always speak highly of this guy.
Yeah, yeah. And it was basically over Trump.
I know. But that's what Trump does. He divides.
Right. Religion and politics, I thought that was choice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as that became a conflict between Brad and I realized that this is coming from a real place.
Yes.
If I can separate politics from friendship, why can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's not even about friendship. It's about your position in life pertaining to this guy's agenda.
But that lets you know that, like I said, for someone to follow this guy, you saw what he did. You just saw what his followers did.
Oh, yeah.
So for somebody to follow this negative guy,
Yeah.
that tells you a lot about, like, do I really want to be in this person's presence if he really supports this guy? So to support him means you support everything that he's about.
Right.
You support all his racist remarks.
Right.
You support all the fascist stuff. You support all the narcissistic things that he says and he does. Yeah. You support him.
Right.
And for you to just, let me put the Trump 2020 on and smiling ear to ear, I'm thinking like, when I saw that dude, I was like, oh no, come on, Sean.
Well, I mean, because
it was a done deal. And then what I did was, immediately, I hit him on Facebook. I said, wow. He hits me right back. He goes, what was I supposed to vote for? He said something like for Senile Joe or something like that.
Right.
And I said, I got it. And I blocked him.
Wow.
I blocked him.
Well, it's those relationships that we thought we had early on. And see, my problem is this is where I drew the line.
Now I draw the line right here.
When you make an exit with no explanation, or you can't be man enough
To
or
tell me
woman
what I've
enough to
done?
say why you cool,
Right.
I'm cool on you.
Right.
Because that let me know that it was something underlying from the beginning.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we don't look at the signs. We just bypass the red light, and we don't want to see that individual the way they really are, because we care about them.
Right.
We respect them.
Right.
And then as time go on, you realize they're showing you
Who they are,
and they're cool on you.
Yeah.
So some of those relationships I felt kind of cut out of, because it was like you only got in so far. Like, you missed out on the real stuff.
Right.
The baby showers.
Right.
The birthday parties.
Right.
The exclusive invitations. And you got to look at it as, I told somebody this before. I said, check it out. Don't be mad when you didn't get the invitation, and start giving them excuses. Oh, well, they forgot. It was in the mail. We found out at the last minute. No, they didn't want you there.
Pretty much.
They didn't want you there.
Pretty much.
That's why
because
you
if you was important, you would have been on the list.
Oh, I thought I told you.
Nah, them is excuses.
Exactly. So the bottom line is, I had to realize that when that happens, they didn't want you there.
Yeah.
They did. How do you forget people that are intricate in your life?
Yeah, people you love, people you care for. You don't forget that.
So I see how those relationships, they change and they develop into, what they're supposed to, because at some point we're supposed to see where we are, where we stand with one another. Again, man, it's been great just to, reminisce, but more importantly, kind of bring some clarity to certain situations that we experience, and hopefully somebody will glean from some of these topics, so that they'll know how to attack, on the next go around.
Right.
Now, the third episode, which I think is going to be very interesting, as it it'll
be different from episode 1 and 2.
Right. And I think a lot of people that's viewing will be on the edge of their seat to really see
the transformation.
Exactly.
The transformation from us as kids, and we talked about how the naive, how we were naive as kids and we were green, and to transform into the next chapter of our young adolescence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you guys for tuning in and following along. Again, It's All Wood podcast with Charley and Hoopie. It's a great opportunity to chop it up, but also glean from some of the mistakes or situations that it transcends our life. How we adapt to it. How we move on from it.
Right.
How we build.
Right.
And I think that it's a great opportunity to encourage someone to grab a hold of those things that may have weighed them down and move forward by dumping the load. Some things it's
sometimes
just
you gotta dump it.
You gotta dump
sometimes
the
you
load.
gotta get it off your chest.
You gotta get it off your chest. So we're gonna say this. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be part 3 of this conversation, and we're gonna get into some real interesting stuff that you need to hear. And thanks again, bro, for co-hosting. This is where we're gonna be. You gotta find us.
Yeah.
It's All Wood podcast with Charley and Hoopie, and we're gonna be coming to you live and direct on a consistent basis. Thanks for everything.
Peace and love.